Commander Ta-Woo Kim stood at the window of Earth Defense Force headquarters, his eyes fixed on the massive alien ships that hung in the sky like dark clouds. They had appeared 3 days ago, their sudden arrival turning a peaceful Tuesday morning into humanity's most important moment in history. "Commander, they're broadcasting again," Captain Sun Mi Lee called from her station. Her fingers moved quickly across the control panel, bringing the alien transmission to the main screen. The room fell silent. The image of the alien Grand Marshal filled the screen, a tall, gray-skinned creature with 4 eyes and a mouth that seemed permanently twisted into a sneer. Its voice boomed through the speakers in perfect English, though the sound had an odd metallic quality. "People of Earth," the Grand Marshal said, "the Stellar Dominion has watched your primitive civilization long enough. You have 24 hours to surrender control of your planet. Resist, and we will show no mercy." Tai-Woo's hands tightened into fists. He had spent 15 years preparing Earth's defenses for a moment like this, but the reality was far more terrifying than any simulation. "Get me Dr. Park," he ordered, turning to face his team. "And someone wake up the president." Dr. Hae-Jin Park arrived within 10 minutes, her lab coat wrinkled and her hair messy from working through the night. She carried a tablet filled with data about the alien ships. "Commander, you need to see this," she said, her voice excited despite the dark circles under her eyes. "They're ships. They're not as advanced as they want us to think." Tai-Woo raised an eyebrow. "Explain." Hae-Jin pulled up several diagrams on the main screen. "Look at their energy signatures. They're using a form of plasma drive we theorized about 5 years ago. Yes, they're more advanced than us, but not by centuries, maybe decades at most." Captain Sun Mi moved closer to the screen, her pilot's eyes analyzing the alien ship's design. "Those weapon ports, they're fixed in position. No rotating turrets. That means they have blind spots," Tai-Woo finished. A small smile crossed his face for the first time in 3 days. The meeting with the president happened virtually. On screens around the room, world leaders joined one by one, their faces showing varying degrees of fear and determination. "Mr. President," Tai-Woo began, "I recommend against surrender." The president leaned forward in his chair. "Commander Kim, there are 30 alien ships up there, each one bigger than our largest aircraft carrier. How can we possibly fight them?" "Because we have to," Tai-Woo said simply. "And because we can. Dr. Park has found weaknesses in their technology. Captain Lee has identified tactical advantages we might have. But most importantly," he paused, looking at each face on the screen, "if we surrender now, we'll never know if we could have won." Hae-Jin stepped forward, sharing her findings with the world leaders. She explained how the alien ship's energy signatures suggested their shields couldn't handle rapidly changing frequencies, a weakness that Earth's newer weapon systems might be able to exploit. As the meeting continued, alerts flashed across the command screens. The alien ships were moving, taking up attack positions around major cities. "They're trying to scare us," Sun Mi said, tracking the movements. "Classic intimidation tactics." Tai-Woo nodded, "which means they're not as confident as they pretend to be. If they were, they'd just attack." The president's decision came after 2 hours of debate. Earth would not surrender. Tai-Woo immediately put their plans into motion. Around the world, hidden military bases activated. Underground hangars opened, revealing squadrons of advanced fighters that had been kept secret from the public. In orbit, stealth satellites shifted position, their weapons systems coming online. "Captain Lee," Tai-Woo called, "get your pilots ready. The moment they attack, I want your squadrons in the air." Sun Mi saluted and left, her stride confident despite the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. Hae-Jin worked with her team of scientists, analyzing every bit of data they could gather about the alien ships. Each hour brought new discoveries, new possibilities. "Commander," one of the technicians shouted, "the aliens are broadcasting again." The Grand Marshal's face appeared once more, but this time Tai-Woo noticed something different in its expression. Was that confusion in those four eyes? Your time grows short, the alien leader said. We detect your military preparations. They are futile. Surrender now, and we will be merciful. Tai Wu stepped forward, straightening his uniform. Send our response. The communications officer nodded, and suddenly Tai Wu's image replaced the aliens on the broadcast. To the Stellar Dominion, he said, his voice steady and clear. Humanity has received your demand. We have discussed it. We have considered it. And we have decided. He paused, allowing his words to sink in. Earth belongs to humanity. We will not surrender. We will not kneel. If you want our planet, you'll have to fight for it. The alien response was immediate. Their ship's weapons began to glow, charging up for what they surely thought would be a quick and decisive battle. But Earth was ready. Hidden defense platforms emerged from underground bases. Orbital weapons satellites dropped their stealth fields. And in hangars around the world, pilots like Sun Mi climbed into their fighters, ready to defend their home. All units, battle stations, Tai Wu commanded. Around him, the command center transformed into a hub of military activity. Screens showed defensive positions, weapon readiness, and troop deployments. Hejin worked furiously at her station, coordinating with science teams worldwide. Commander, we're ready to begin frequency variations on our shield disruptors. The moment they fire. The alien ships struck first, their weapons releasing beams of energy toward Earth's major cities. But the attacks never reached their targets. Hidden shield generators activated, protecting the cities with barriers of energy that adapted and changed frequency faster than the alien weapons could adjust. Return fire, Tai Wu ordered. Earth's defenders launched their counterattack. Fighters rose from hidden bases, their weapons specifically designed to exploit the weaknesses Hejin had discovered. Orbital platforms fired precisely targeted shots at the alien ship's blind spots. The Stellar Dominion's response showed their surprise. Their ships moved in rigid, predictable patterns, exactly as Sun Mi had predicted. Their tactical doctrine seemed unable to adapt to Earth's unexpected level of technology and preparation. They're falling back. Sun Mi's voice came through the command center speakers. Her squadron had just finished a successful attack run on one of the alien destroyers. Their shields are failing. Tai Wu watched the tactical displays as humanity's defenders pressed their advantage. The alien ships, so threatening just hours ago, now seemed less invincible. Their formation was breaking apart, their coordinated attacks becoming chaotic. Commander, Hejin called out, I'm detecting power fluctuations in their fleet. They can't maintain their shield frequency against our attacks. The battle continued for hours. Earth took damage. Several cities were hit. Defensive positions were destroyed. But humanity's forces fought on. The alien ships, for all their advanced technology, couldn't adapt to Earth's constantly changing tactics and attack patterns. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of combat, the Grand Marshal's image appeared again on the command center screens. This time, there was no mistaking the change in its demeanor. The alien leader seemed to struggle with the words, This is not possible. You are a primitive species. You should not have this level of technology. These tactics. Tai Wu stepped forward again. You made a mistake. You judged us by our visible technology, by what we showed to the world. You never considered that we might be preparing, hiding our true capabilities, waiting for a moment like this. The Grand Marshal's four eyes blinked in what might have been surprise. Perhaps we should discuss terms. Perhaps we should. Tai Wu agreed. But first, you will withdraw your ships from Earth orbit. All of them. Then we can talk about the future of our relations with the Stellar Dominion. As the alien ships retreated, pulling back to a safe distance, the command center erupted in cheers. But Tai Wu, Sun Mi, and Hejin shared knowing looks. This was only the beginning. The aliens had wanted Earth to kneel. Instead, they had learned a valuable lesson: never underestimate humanity. And as Tai Wu watched the alien ships withdraw, He knew that the real challenge was just beginning. The Stellar Dominion would be back, and next time, they would be better prepared. But so would Earth. Sun Mai landed her fighter and joined them in the command center, still in her flight suit. What do you think they'll do now? They'll study us, He Jin said, still analyzing data from the battle. Try to understand how we developed our technology in secret, plan new strategies. Tai Wu nodded, and we'll be ready. Because that's what humans do. We adapt, we prepare, we survive. He looked at his team, pride evident in his expression. And we never, ever kneel. Outside the command center's windows, the sun was rising. The alien ships were now just distant dots in the sky, a reminder of humanity's first major victory against an extraterrestrial threat. But everyone knew this was just the first chapter in a much longer story. Earth had stood its ground. Humanity had shown its strength, and the galaxy would never be the same. 2 weeks after Earth's first victory against the Stellar Dominion, Commander Ta Wu Kim sat in a newly built underground war room. The walls were covered with screens showing the positions of alien ships at the edge of the solar system. They hadn't left. They were watching, waiting, and probably planning their next move. They're rebuilding their fleet, Captain Sun Mili said, pointing to a cluster of dots on the main screen. But look at the design changes. They're trying to copy our adaptive shield technology. Dr. He Jin Park walked in, carrying a piece of alien equipment recovered from a damaged ship. And they're doing it wrong, she said with a small smile. Colonel Kang, show them what we found. Colonel Jai-Ho Kang stepped forward. He was a tall man with sharp eyes and a serious face. His special operations team had pulled off a daring mission to retrieve alien technology from a crashed ship near Mars. The Dominion thinks in straight lines, Jai-Ho explained, gesturing to the alien device. Their minds work like their computers. Input A must always lead to output B. They can't handle chaos or random changes. It's not just their weakness. It's built into who they are. Tai Wu leaned forward, interested. And we can use this. We already are, a new voice said. Lieutenant Du Yun Baek walked in, his tablet displaying lines of code. Du Yun led Earth's cyber warfare team, and he hadn't slept much since the first battle. Their communication systems are amazing, but they're too perfect, too ordered. We can slip our own messages in between their signals because they never expect anything to be messy or random. The meeting was interrupted by a warning alarm. On the main screen, 3 alien ships broke away from their fleet and headed toward Earth. Not an attack force, Sun Mai said quickly. Too small, probably scouts. Or diplomats, He Jin added. They must have finished analyzing their defeat. She was right. The alien ships sent a clear message. They wanted to talk. But this time, they asked permission before entering Earth's space. The meeting took place in a neutral location, a space station quickly built between Earth and Moon orbit. Tai Wu led the human delegation, with He Jin and Ji-Ho at his side. The Grand Marshal looked different in person. Its gray skin had patterns that the video feeds hadn't shown, and its 4 eyes moved independently, watching everything at once. 2 other aliens stood behind it, their hands never far from their weapons. We, the Grand Marshal seemed to struggle with the words, we may have been hasty in our judgment of your species. You were, Tai Wu agreed simply. And that was your first mistake. He Jin stepped forward with her tablet. You thought we would be easy to defeat because we don't show all our technology to the galaxy. But hiding our strength isn't weakness, it's wisdom. The Grand Marshal's eyes blinked in different patterns. Your weapons should not work as they do. Your shields should not be able to change so quickly. Your pilots fly in ways that deny logic. How is this possible? Jai-Ho answered this time. Because we don't follow your logic. Humans learn to bend, to adapt, to think in new ways. When something doesn't work, we try something else. When we fail, we learn and try again. Back on Earth, Du Yun and his team were watching the meeting through hidden cameras. They had already broken through 3 layers of alien security and were reading their private communications. Commander, Du Yun's voice came through Ta Wu's hidden earpiece. They're transmitting battle plans to their fleet. They're still thinking about attacking. They just want to learn more about us first. Tai Wu wasn't surprised. He had expected this. Let me show you something, he said to the Grand Marshal. He nodded to Hejin, who pressed a button on her tablet. Screens appeared around them, showing Earth's true defense network. Hidden bases under the oceans, weapon platforms disguised as space junk, fighters that could change shape mid-flight, and something that made all four of the Grand Marshal's eyes go wide. A full simulation of how Earth could destroy the entire Dominion fleet in 6 different ways. Impossible, one of the other aliens whispered. Your species is too young for such technology. No, Tai Wu corrected them. We're not too young. You're too old. Too set in your ways. Too sure that your way is the only way. Engineer Yoon, He Choi chose that moment to demonstrate her latest creation. Outside the space station, a small satellite suddenly transformed, its simple surface splitting and shifting to reveal a weapon bigger than the station itself. That's just one example. Yoon Hee's voice came through the station speakers. Would you like to see what our other space junk can do? The Grand Marshal stepped back. For the first time, the human saw something new in its alien face. Respect. And fear. You could have destroyed our fleet, it said slowly. During the first battle, you held back. We did, Tadwu agreed, because we wanted you to learn, to understand. Humanity doesn't want to destroy you. We don't want to rule you. We just want you to understand one simple truth. We will never kneel. The aliens left the space station quickly after that. Their ships returned to their fleet, and new messages started flowing through their communication networks. Messages about peace, about cooperation, about learning from the humans. Back in the underground war room, Earth's defenders celebrated their second victory. This one won without firing a shot. They'll be back, Sun Mai said, watching the alien fleet on the screens. But not as enemies, I think. They're too curious now. They want to understand how we think. Good luck with that, Du Yun laughed. Most of us don't even understand how we think. Hejin was already working on new projects, her mind racing with possibilities. Their technology mixed with our creativity. Imagine what we could build together. Jaiho nodded, as long as they remember the lesson they learned today. They will, Tatwu said, looking at the screens. Because we didn't just show them our strength. We showed them something they've never seen before. A species that grows stronger through chaos, that learns from failure, that turns weakness into strength. Yoon Hee's voice came through the speakers again. Commander, you should see this. The alien fleet, they're sending out messages to other species. Warnings about Earth. What kind of warnings? Tadwu asked. They're telling everyone that humans are not what they seem. That we're dangerous because we're unpredictable. That we should be respected because we choose peace when we could choose destruction. The room fell quiet as they thought about what this meant. Earth wasn't just safe now. It was becoming something more. A symbol to the galaxy. A warning to empires. A reminder that appearances could be deceiving. So what do we do now? Sun Mai asked. Now. Tai Wu smiled. Now we keep preparing. Keep inventing. Keep surprising them. Because that's what humans do. We never stop growing. Never stop learning. Never stop becoming stronger. And we never kneel, Jaiho added. Never, they all agreed. Outside, the sun was setting, painting the sky in colors the aliens probably had scientific names for. But to the humans watching, it was simply beautiful. Another reminder of why they had fought so hard to protect their home. The stellar dominion had come to Earth expecting to find primitives. Instead, they found something they had never seen before. A species that turned their greatest weakness, their chaos, their adaptability, their unpredictability, into their greatest strength. And as the alien fleet moved further away, Carrying tales of humanity to the stars, Earth's defenders went back to work. There would be more challenges ahead, more battles to fight, more lessons to teach. But they were ready. They were human, and they would never, ever kneel. 1 month after the space station meeting, Earth's predictions came true. The Stellar Dominion returned, not with one fleet, but with 3. Their ships darkened the skies over every major continent, more numerous than before and carrying new weapons. "They think they've figured us out," Captain Sun Mai said, watching the tactical displays in the war room. Her pilots were ready in their fighters, waiting for orders. "They studied our tactics from the first battle." Commander Ta Wu Kim nodded. "Then it's good we don't plan to use the same tactics twice." The alien message came as expected. The Grand Marshal's image appeared on their screens, but this time it wasn't alone. 2 other alien leaders flanked it, commanders of the other fleets. "Humans," the Grand Marshal announced. "You have impressed us, but you have also proven too dangerous to remain free. For the safety of the galaxy, you must be controlled. This is your final chance to surrender." Dr. Hei Jin Park looked up from her workstation. "They really don't learn, do they?" "Oh, they learned," Colonel Jai-Ho Kang said with a grim smile. "They just learned the wrong lessons, ready to show them some new tricks." Operation Thunderstrike began exactly 3 minutes later, but it didn't start with Earth's ships rising to meet the alien fleet. Instead, it began with silence. "All communications are down," Lieutenant Du Yun Baek reported from his cyber warfare center. "Their entire network is frozen. They can't talk to each other." The alien ships responded exactly as predicted. They fell back on preset protocols, moving into standard defensive formations. It was exactly what Earth's defenders had been counting on. "Now, Engineer Choi," Tai Wu ordered. Yoon Hee Choi, watching from her laboratory deep under the Pacific Ocean, pressed a single button. Across Earth's orbit, pieces of space debris that the aliens had ignored suddenly came to life. But they weren't the weapons the Dominion had seen before. They were something new. "Launching hybrid fighters," Sun Mai announced. Her squadron took off, but their ships looked different now. They had been rebuilt using a mix of human innovation and stolen alien technology. They moved in ways that should have been impossible, changing shape and speed in patterns that made no sense to the rigid alien minds. "Colonel Kang, you have permission to proceed," Ta Wu said into his comm. Jai-Ho's Special Forces team was already in position. During the past month, they had hidden themselves inside asteroids that the aliens had towed into orbit for their own use. Now those teams came alive, boarding the alien ships from what the Dominion had thought were safe resource deposits. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Earth's forces didn't just fight. They rewrote the rules of space combat with every move. Sun and his pilots flew their hybrid fighters straight through alien shield frequencies, changing their ships' energy signatures faster than the Dominion's weapons could track. "Like dancing," she told her pilots. "Don't think about the math. Feel the rhythm of the fight." Inside the alien ships, Jai-Ho's teams moved like ghosts. They used devices He Jin had created, tools that bent light and sound in ways that confused the aliens' four-eyed vision. "Remember," he told his soldiers, "they expect order. Give them chaos." Du Yun's cyber warfare team didn't just shut down alien computers. They'd made them work in new ways. Alien targeting systems suddenly showed phantom ships. Navigation computers displayed false routes. Even their artificial gravity started working randomly. "Status report," Ta Wu called out as the battle entered its second hour. "First Fleet is in complete disarray," Sun Mai reported. "Their ships are firing at empty space, chasing sensor ghosts. Second Fleet is trapped in their own defensive formation," Jai-Ho added. "They're so tangled up in their own protocols they can't break free." Third Fleet is trying to retreat, Du Yun said with a satisfied smile. "But their navigation systems are giving them coordinates that lead right into our trap zones." He Jin stepped forward. Commander, we're detecting massive energy buildup in their flagship. I think, yes, they're trying to power up their main weapon. The one they thought we didn't know about. Yumhee's voice came through the speakers. Should I show them our surprise? Taiwu nodded. Do it. The alien flagship's secret weapon, a massive energy cannon built into its core, began to glow. But before it could fire, something strange happened. The energy didn't shoot out into space. Instead, it flowed backward, drawn into thousands of tiny collectors that Yumhee's teams had attached to the ship's hull during the past month's preparation. Impossible. The Grand Marshal's voice crackled through the restored communication channels. Those devices, they're made of our own technology. No, Heijin corrected through the same channel. They're made of our technology, rebuilt using your power systems. We learned from you, adapted your ideas, and made them better. The battle turned into a rout. Earth's forces, using their strange mix of stolen technology and human creativity, systematically took apart the alien fleets. Ships surrendered one by one as their crews realized they were fighting an enemy that didn't just match their technology, it understood it better than they did. Ground teams reporting in, Jaiho announced. We've secured their command centers. The ship cores are under our control. Sunmai landed on the alien flagship's deck, her hybrid fighter shifting its shape to lock into the alien docking system. Flight teams in position. We can power down their weapons anytime. Duyun's face appeared on a side screen. You should see their internal communications, Commander. They're not just shocked. They're completely reevaluating everything they thought they knew about warfare. Taiwu stood up. Open a channel to all ships, ours and theirs. When he spoke, his voice reached every ship in Earth's orbit. To all Dominion forces, your fleets are disabled. Your weapons are under our control. Your technology has been turned against you, but once again, we offer you a choice. He paused, letting the silence build. You can continue this fight, trying to impose your order on our chaos, or you can learn from this defeat. You can talk to us as equals. You can share knowledge with us, grow with us, build something new with us. The choice is yours. The response took 11 minutes to arrive. When it came, it wasn't from the Grand Marshal, but from one of the other fleet commanders. We, the alien leaders, seemed to struggle with the words. We request permission to land and discuss terms of peace. The war room erupted in cheers, but Taiwu raised his hand for silence. Permission granted. And this time, let's talk about more than just peace. Let's talk about the future. As the alien ships powered down their weapons, Earth's defenders began the work of securing their greatest victory. But it wasn't just a military victory. It was a victory of human creativity over rigid thinking, of adaptation over tradition, of chaos over order. What do you think they'll say in their history books about this day? Sunlei asked as she walked into the war room. They'll say it was the day they learned that strength isn't just about technology or numbers. Heijin replied. It's about how you think, how you adapt, how you turn your enemy's power into your own. They'll say it was the day the galaxy learned why humans never kneel, Jaiho added. Taiwu looked out at the mixture of human and alien ships in orbit. No, he said quietly. They'll say it was the day both sides learned something important. We learned we could take their technology and make it our own. They learned that sometimes the best way to win isn't to make others kneel, it's to learn to stand together. The sun rose over Earth, its light reflecting off the hulls of two civilization ships. The galaxy was changing, and humanity, with its strange mix of chaos and creativity, would help shape that change. They had refused to kneel. They had fought back, and in doing so, they had taught the galaxy a lesson it would never forget. 3 days after the Great Battle, the halls of Earth Defense Force headquarters were filled with an unusual sight. Humans and aliens walking side by side, working together to create something new. Commander Taiwu Kim watched from his office as Dr. Heijin Park explained Earth's hybrid technology to a group of fascinated alien engineers. Their four eyes blinked rapidly as they tried to understand how humans had taken their rigid systems and made them fluid and adaptable. "It's like teaching them to dance," Captain Sun Mei said, joining him at the window. "They understand the steps, but they can't feel the music yet." The peace talks were happening in the main conference room, but these weren't the usual kind of peace talks. Instead of arguing about borders and rules, both sides were sharing technology and ideas. "You should see their faces when we show them our combat simulators," Colonel Jaiho Kang reported, walking into the office. "They can't believe we train by making things go wrong on purpose." Lieutenant Du Yun Baek looked up from his computer. "Speaking of things going wrong, we just caught another alien spy ship at the edge of the solar system. But this one's different. It's not from the Dominion." Tai Wu turned away from the window. "Oh, it's from someone called the Galactic Council," Du Yun explained. "Apparently, news of what happened here has spread. The galaxy wants to know how a primitive species defeated the mighty stellar Dominion." The Grand Marshal itself confirmed this when it entered the office, ducking its tall frame through the human-sized door. The alien leader had changed over the past few days. It moved differently now, less rigid, more human. "The Council is afraid," it said without preamble. "They fear you will do to them what you did to us. They do not understand that what you did was teach us." Engineer Yoon Hee Choi, who had been quietly working in the corner, spoke up. "Then maybe we should show them too, not with weapons, but with this." She held up a small device, a mixture of human and alien technology that seemed to shimmer and shift in the light. "What is it?" the Grand Marshal asked, all four eyes focusing on the device. "The future," Yoon Hee said simply. "A power core that adapts and grows stronger the more it's used. Something that only works because we combined your precision with our creativity." He-Jin joined them, bringing her alien engineers with her. "We're already building more. Ships that can think and adapt like humans. Shields that learn from every hit they take. Communication systems that grow stronger when someone tries to break them." The Grand Marshal was quiet for a long moment. "We came to make you kneel," it said finally. "Instead, you taught us to stand taller." The next few hours were busy. The Galactic Council's spy ship was invited to land. Under careful watch, of course. Sun Miss pilots escorted it in, showing off their hybrid fighters' capabilities with a few fancy maneuvers. The Council representatives were different from the Dominion aliens. They were smaller, with smooth blue skin and 3 eyes instead of 4. They came expecting to find barbarians playing with stolen technology. What they found instead was something that made them question everything they thought they knew about primitive species. "Let me show you something," Tai Wu said to the Council representatives. He led them to a large window overlooking a testing area. Below, human and Dominion scientists worked side by side, testing new technologies that shouldn't have been possible. A ship rose from the testing pad. It looked like nothing the Council had ever seen, partly because it kept changing how it looked. Its hull shifted and flowed like water, adapting to each test they put it through. "Impossible," one of the Council members whispered. "No," Jaiho corrected them. "Just human. We don't believe in impossible. We see it as a challenge." Do Yun's team had already broken through the Council ship's security systems. On his screens, he could see messages being sent back to their homeworld. But these weren't warnings of a dangerous species. They were excited reports about opportunities for cooperation and trade. "They're calling us the Adapters," he reported with a laugh. Apparently, that's a compliment in their culture. The Grand Marshal made a sound that might have been a laugh. "They don't understand yet. You are not just adapters. You are teachers. We came to conquer you, and instead, you conquered our minds. You made us think in new ways." He-Jin was already working with both Dominion and Council scientists, showing them how human chaos theory could improve their technology. The aliens struggled to understand at first, but slowly they began to see the patterns in the chaos. "It's like watching children discover music for the first time," Sun Mai said, watching them work. Yoonhee's new power core was the centerpiece of their discussions. The council scientists couldn't understand how it worked until she explained it in their terms. It doesn't follow rules. It makes new ones as it needs them. As the day went on, more messages arrived from across the galaxy. Other species had heard about Earth's victory, but they weren't coming with weapons or threats. They were coming with questions, with offers of trade, with requests to learn. "We should be careful," Jaiho warned. "Not everyone will come in peace." "No," Taiwu agreed. "But now they'll come knowing that humanity doesn't kneel. We stand. We adapt. We teach. And if necessary, we fight." The Grand Marshal gathered all its courage and did something no Dominion leader had ever done before. It bowed to Taiwu. "We came to teach you your place in the galaxy. Instead, you showed us that everyone's place can change, can grow, can become something new." The council representatives were already drafting trade agreements, but these weren't the usual kind of space treaties. These were partnerships for learning, for growing, for building something new together. "What do we do now?" Sun Lei asked as they watched ships from 3 different species dock at Earth's new space station. "Now," Taiwu smiled. "Now we do what humans do best. We learn. We teach. We grow. We take what's old and make it new." Hejin looked up from her work. "And we keep surprising them. Did you see their faces when I showed them how we use quantum uncertainty in our shield systems? Or when Du-Yun explained how we use computer viruses to make our networks stronger?" Yoonhee added. Jaiho nodded. "They wanted us to kneel because they thought we were weak. Now they stand with us because we showed them a different kind of strength." Outside, the sun was setting on a new era. Earth's skies were filled with ships from across the galaxy, all coming to learn from the species that had turned chaos into strength, weakness into power, and enemies into allies. The Stellar Dominion had come to make humanity kneel. Instead, they had learned to stand alongside them. The Galactic Council had come to study a threat. Instead, they found partners and humanity. They had done what they always did, faced the impossible, adapted to it, and made it their own. "You know what the best part is?" Du-Yun said, checking his latest reports. "They're still trying to figure out how we think. They probably never will." "Good," Taiwu said, "because that means we'll always have something new to teach them." And so, as night fell on Earth, humanity looked to the stars not with fear, but with pride and purpose. They had refused to kneel. They had fought back. They had won. But most importantly, they had turned victory into something greater. A chance to help the galaxy grow, change, and become something new. They were human. They would never kneel. And now, the galaxy was better for it.